Here I'm going to show you how to do the cable cast on method, which is what I recommend for this Daphne cardigan when we're using this brushed alpaca silk yarn. And the reason I recommend this cast on versus long tail or any other cast on is because it gives you just enough elasticity, because this yarn with its silk content doesn't really have as much give as the merino wools or other sorts of yarns like that that you might be using. So it's a very simple cast on. It's actually kind of nice because unlike the long tail cast on, you don't need to leave a long tail based on how many stitches you're going to cast on. You don't have to account for that. You just start off by leaving enough of a tail that you would normally leave just for finishing. So I usually leave 5-6 inches so that I have enough to weave in that loose end. And then you're going to go ahead and do that slip knot as you normally do. So create that first stitch, and that's a slip knot. Go ahead and put that on your needle. With this pattern, we're using a smaller needle size to cast on and do the ribbed band, the neck band, and then we're gonna go up a needle size for the main part of the sweater. Okay, so that becomes your first stitch. And so this is the cable cast on. So to get it going, you have one stitch with the slip knot, and you just knit it as usual. And then this new knit stitch, you just slip it on like this, and that becomes your second cast on stitch. Now, the cable cast on part is that you use your right needle tip, or left if you're left-handed, and insert it between the two stitches. So I'm using the needle tip, and just in the middle of those two stitches that are on there, putting it right in the middle, not inside either of the stitches, but in the middle. And I'm going to knit through there. So yarn over, pull the stitch through, and then also place that on the needle. That becomes my third stitch. And what I just did is what I'm going to do over and over to continue the cast on. So the last stitch I put on and the next to last, go between them at the base. So kind of double check yourself if you need to. Yarn over, knit between them, and pull out your stitch, and that goes on your needle. And then keep going. Go between the last two stitches, knit through there, place it on the needle. Knit through the last two between them, knit through, place it on the needle. You also notice that I'm not tightening things. I'm keeping things a little bit loose because I need to have enough space to be able to stick my needle in between those two stitches. So once again, between the two, knit through there, gently pull it out and place it on the left-hand needle. And so here, please resist any tightening because then it'll be hard for you to keep creating that next stitch. So it's still nice and loose. Put the needle between the two last stitches, knit, slip it on, knit between the two, and slip it on, and keep going. So that is how you do the cable cast on. So every one of these stitches will count, and just cast on the number required by the pattern. The other thing I wanted to note about this cable cast on is that this is the right side. When you do the long tail cast on, I usually consider the long tail cast on to be one where you cast on and then you flip it over, and that is your wrong side of your knitting because that's not the neatest side of the cast on. But the cable cast on is different in that this is the nice corded edge that I like to see on the outside of the sweater. So here's an example. You see that nice corded edge. So after I've done casting on as many stitches as I'm supposed to, I actually don't flip my cast on row here because I'm ready to start knitting from this end right away. So that is also a different thing about the cable cast on.